This is Slim bin Muhammad Rafi, and here is my YouTube channel, Zamir Universal. Finally, the cat is out. Now, those who still had doubt about this filthy, dirty, greedy, the vampires who suck blood of the society by controlling the whole economy of the world, are the scum of the society, and this is the reason that from the day they came into existence, they have been hated, their graves have been dug, and they've been spitted upon. There is not a single country in the world which, uh, you know, likes these race. It's not that they don't look like human. It's not that they are not decent people amongst them. It isn't that there aren't, practicing and honest people amongst them. But the number of those people is so in minority that the mainstream Zionist is that branch of Jews which control the whole world economy. And this was the reason why Hitler, I think, threw them in the incinerators, and which is the most cruel way to burn people and kill them in the gas chambers in mass killing. But they have learned nothing. Go centuries before that and see what the pharaohs did, and they killed every male child they had and kept only their women so they could use them, they could have their domestic work done and produce illegitimate children out of them. And so you can see that they are the children of those illegitimate, mistresses, which when they were enslaved by Pharaoh, they are the one who are living around. Check their DNA and you.
इसराइल की आर्मी और इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसियों ने रिपोर्ट दी है कि हमारे लिए हमास को मैनेज करना बहुत ज्यादा मुश्किल होता जा रहा है। सबसे ज्यादा मुश्किल इसलिए हो रहा है, वो कह रहे हैं कि हम चूंकि गजा में एंटर हुए हैं, अचानक से किसी भी साइड से हमें पता नहीं चलता, जो बिल्डिंग्स तबाह हैं या इवन के कई जगहों पर तबाहशुदा बिल्डिंग्स, टनल्स, ये किसी भी जगह से अचानक हमास के लोग उठते हैं, वो हम पर फायरिंग करना शुरू कर देते हैं, शेल मार रहे हैं और उसके बाद एंटी टैंक मिसाइल फायर करते हैं और मारते हैं और उसके बाद अचानक गायब हो जाते हैं। अब हमें समझ नहीं आ पा रही कि हम ना तो ड्रोन्स के जरिए उनको डिटेक्ट कर पा रहे हैं, ना हम अपने जहाज़ों के जरिए डिटेक्ट कर पा रहे हैं, ना मुसाद के पास कोई इंटेलिजेंस मालूमात आ रही है ये कहाँ पर है कहाँ पर नहीं है, और हम इस वक्त मुकम्मल तौर पर बेबस हो चुके हैं। लिहाजा हमें यह समझ नहीं आ पा रही कि ये सारी सूरत हाल कहाँ पर जा रही है और क्या मामला हो रहा है। और इस पर उन्होंने कहा है कि अगर इसी तरह हम करते रहे तो हमारी जो जितनी फौज की बटालियन है वो सारी की सारी खत्म हो जाएंगी। इसका कोई ना कोई काम करना पड़ेगा, मैनेज करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वो दूर से आते हैं और आकर टैंकों के ऊपर डिवाइसेस रख जाते हैं या एंटी टैंक जो मिसाइल होते हैं वो मारते हैं, या उसके अलावा ये तमाम सूरत हाल तबाही के लिए कर जाते हैं। हम पूरी तरह यहाँ पर मजबूर हो चुके हैं, लिहाजा इसको मैनेज करें किसी भी तर्ज पर, अदरवाइज ग्राउंड ऑपरेशन नाकाम होगा और दुनिया हमारे खिलाफ होगी। लेकिन जो सबसे बड़ी डेवलपमेंट है वो इतनी भयानक है कि अब आपको समझ आ जाएगी ये सारा गेम खेला क्यों जा रहा था। देखिए, इस वक्त सूरत हाल ये पैदा हुई है कि इसराइल ने गजा के अंदर और गजा के मुल्का इलाके, जो अब वो असल में तो फलस्तीन है जिसको ये इसराइल कहते हैं, वहां पर तेल और गैस के बहुत बड़े जखायर निकल आए हैं, गजा में भी और गजा के साथ जो पट्टी लगती है आगे फिर इसराइल शुरू होता है जो कि असल में तो फलस्तीन है, तो वहां पर गैस के जखायर निकल आए हैं। इनकी जो आप सोचिए जंग जारी है। एनर्जी मिनिस्टर ने 12 लाइसेंस इस वक्त जारी किए 6 कंपनीज को, जिनमें से 4 नई कंपनीज हैं और ये गैस और तेल यहां पर निकालने जा रही है। अब आपको समझ आई है कि गजा इन्होंने क्यों खाली करवाना है, क्योंकि वहां पर तेल और गैस के जखायर निकल आए हैं और साथ उन्होंने दौराने जंग कंपनीज को कह दिया है क्या हो। अब वो असल में कंपनीज इनको कह रही है, लाइसेंस इन्होंने दे दिया है कि आप लोग ये सारा ऑपरेशन जल्दी कंप्लीट करें। ये असल में वो कहानी है जो अब आपको समझ आएगी कि असल में ये गजा के अंदर तमाम लोगों को बाहर निकालना चाह रहे हैं।
Find most of them are from their origin there. The one who are practicing and follow Prophet Moses, they are the Orthodox Jews who love peace. They have lived as most peacefully amongst the Muslims for centuries. They protest, but they run them down by getting the horses and the police batons, charging them, give them nothing in their government. They have no standing, they have no respect, and they are the real Jews. So they suffer on behalf of this scum of the society which is controlling now. Now you can see now that the greed which is the deciding factor for these animals to carpet bomb the civilians, the hospitals, the schools, the immigration, I think shelters, the United Nations offices, water, food, medicine, in the Gaza Strip. So how can you blame those people if they resist that when they have a drop of clean water to drink? How can you blame them not to fight them back to thin nail? Tunnels or no tunnels, missiles or no missiles. When you push them against the barbed wire, that's this action you are going to. What right on earth these, I don't like to call them names, but I think perhaps the animal or primate is have on the oil which is and the gas which is there in that strip of Palestinian land. Look at the greed that they have occupied almost 80 to 90% of Palestine and destroyed the peaceful life, occupied their homes, killed their women and children, and they keep killing. For the last 75 years they've been doing it. And look at that monster, that mafia, that godfather who has been supplying arms, ammunition, billions of dollars every year and supporting. So, in fact, it is the father, the godfather, who is the criminal. The illegitimate children, which are the Zionists, are illegitimate. They are zombies. But look at the faces of this, the criminal of the world, the one who should be, I think, death by hanging is nothing for this man. Death by burning even is nothing for this man. Death, life sentence with all sorts of labor in the jail, in the international Hague, is also nothing for them. I think it's only God Almighty can kill him again and again and again and again, burn him in the deepest pits of fire, him again and again, and his companions, and his illegitimate father, the United States, the greatest terrorist on earth of America, which has kept this illegitimate child alive. So it's the oil and gas. Oil and gas took the American to everybody knows in Iraq had nothing to do with mass weapons of mass destruction, and both that puppy dog Tony Blair and both the Bush 1 and Bush 2 both knew it, the most dishonest. Rumsfeld the most corrupt and dishonest. So you can imagine that how these people are the scum of the society, and they are the one, unless you eliminate them, unless you get rid of them, unless you break their monopoly and break their back forever, you are not going to ever live in peace. If you want to do that, and you see the driving force behind here is, as it was in the Middle East, as it was in destroying the Ottoman Empire. That's what they wanted. They wanted the Middle East oil. Imagine how they used petrodollar and printed their own green paper and had no gold backup. There was nothing in the Fort Knox to back up that piece of paper. So they invented their own and forced the whole world to keep their foreign exchange reserve in the dollar. Now, when their hegemony is over, when their monopoly is over, when they are now declining and it's now their empire is coming to an end, when they are going to meet their fate and die miserably, now they are desperate. Now they are desperate now and they are committing. This is a self destruction and a suicide. You see most American, I think, intellectuals, think tank, professors predicting the self destruction of this Zionist state. And along with that, it will drown the illegitimate father United States of America. I think it's about
When Hamas-led Palestinian fighters launched their deadly assault in Israel on October 7th, many foreign governments rushed to support Israel. Of course, there is no bigger supporter of Israel than the United States, who immediately declared Israel has a right to self-defense. But as Israel prepares for a ground invasion into Gaza, there is a massive problem that, if not corrected, has the potential to not only damage Israel forever, but also lead to the entire collapse of the United States world-led order. Let me explain. Clear evidence has already emerged that Israel is violating international law first established during the Geneva Conventions. On October 11th, the Israeli authorities cut off water, electricity, fuel, internet access, and food to Gaza, amounting to unlawful collective punishment of the civilian population. Although Israeli officials have restored water to some parts of southern Gaza, they are keeping the tap shut in most of the territory. On October 12th, the International Committee of the Red Cross issued a statement noting that without power, Gaza's hospitals are turning into morgues. On October 12th, Human Rights Watch reported that Israel used white phosphorus in operations in Gaza and Lebanon, and because white phosphorus can cause excruciating burns and long-term medical suffering, its use in populated areas violates international law. And this is where things get very interesting. US officials have either been unwilling or unauthorized to condemn these Israeli violations of international humanitarian law, putting both the US and Israel in a very difficult position. But first, please don't misunderstand my message today. Before I continue any further, let me be crystal clear on one important fact. I do not support nor condone the violent actions Hamas carried out against innocent Jewish civilians on October 7th. These brutal killings and actions from Hamas against Israel were horrific and not
time for the American people to wake up and get rid of that 1 to 2% of people who control their lives. They are not Americans. They are dual nationals, but they are in fact Zionists. Everything you drink, sleep, wear, or you have perfume or shave is controlled by this Zionist group. So this is why Hitler wanted to kill them, and he killed 90% of them. Now you have 10%. Out of 10%, you have 1% in the United States controlling 250 million Americans, and more than 50 million British, and many Europeans. So imagine what they have done to Putin. Imagine what they are going to do to China. See what they, all over the world, they have always kept something so that the war continues, the fight continues, so there is no peace in the world. And that's United States, and that's United States of Zionists, not America. So the cat is out, and you can see now how dare they give the contracts to these 15 companies to explore oil and gas in the Gaza Strip. How dare, and how I think challenging it is not only for the Muslims, for all those who consume oil and gas, all Europeans, all Chinese, all Russians. I think they all have to now fight tooth and nail to get rid of this scum and let the Gazans have their own oil and own gas, and they will sell them cheap. There will be no corporate, I think, profits and over interest, and they won't exploit you, they won't blackmail you with oil and gas, and that's what these Zionists want to do to the rest of the world. If you allow them to it, and the companies are stupid, that in the war zone, knowing fully well that it's the land of Palestine, the land of prophets, And these Zionists are just temporary usurpers, occupiers. And they have nothing to do with it. They have no rights, no international rights on the water or the oil. So these words that the people will wake up and stop this nonsense. By stopping this war is nothing. No ceasefire. I think you have to get rid of this Zionist state forever. It may sound very strong to eliminate them, but there is no other way. No other way to do that. Pharaohs tried to eliminate them by killing every, I think, male they had. He failed. Hitler tried to kill them all and clean this uh, planet Earth from this scum. He failed. He left 10%. I think Pharaoh left the women. And you can imagine that how they have spread. This small, tiny minority see how they control the rest of the world. And now you can see the carpet bombing. Now you see how they kill. See, they have absolutely no sympathy. They have no compassion. They are not human. You see, they let all the hospitals, 70% of the Gaza hospitals are now without electricity, are closed. They even bombed the water supply tank, which was supplying water to more than 60,000 residents, and they bombed it. They destroyed 70% of the hospitals. The mothers who are pregnant, they are dying during the labor process because there aren't any hospital, there is any help. Newborn babies are dying. They are bombing them. The ones who are alive, they are killing them, and they are under the debris. And they think that they are going to defeat Gaza. Never, ever they are going to do that. If it took 20 years for Afghans to defeat the Americans and throw them out with great insult and indignation, believe you me, they will have to quit Palestine and there will be no Israel. No Israel in the next 5 to 10 years. They will be all eliminated. There will be a new map on the world and this scum will not be there.
मेरे गजा के नहत्ते बासियों, मेरे गजा के फूल जैसे मासूम बच्चों, अपने सामने अपने बच्चों को मौत की आगोश में जाते देखती माओ, मेरी बहनों, मेरी बेटियों, मेरे बुजुर्गों, मेरे नौजवान बेटों, हम पाकिस्तान के 25 अरब लोग सब कुछ देख रहे हैं। देख रहे हैं कि इसराइल ने जुल्म बर्बरियत की इंतहा कर दी है। देख रहे हैं कि तुम्हारे घर खंडर हो रहे हैं। देख रहे हैं कि तुम्हारी बस्तियां मलबे तले दबा कब्रिस्तान बन रही हैं। देख रहे हैं कि तुम्हारे अस्पताल, तुम्हारे स्कूल, तुम्हारी मस्जिदें, तुम्हारे कैंप सब जालिमाना बमबारी का निशाना बन रहे हैं। देख रहे हैं कि तुम भूख और प्यास से बिलक रहे हो। देख रहे हैं कि तुम्हारे लिए कोई पनाहगाह नहीं बची। देख रहे हैं कि चारों तरफ खौफ, तबाहकारी और गारतगरी के भूत रक्स कर रहे हैं। देख रहे हैं कि बच जाने वाले जख्मी बच्चे किस तरह मां बाप की लाशों से चिमटे हैं। हम ये सब कुछ देख रहे हैं। तुम्हारे दुख दर्द में शरीक हैं, लेकिन मेरे फूल जैसे बच्चों, मेरी माओ, मेरी बेटियों, हम तुमसे भी ज्यादा मजबूर हैं और बेकस हैं। हम बड़ी बड़ी ताकतों का नाम भी नहीं ले सकते जो तुम पर जुल्म ढा रही हैं। हमें भी जिंदा रहने को रोटी चाहिए, डॉलर चाहिए। हमें माफ कर दो। आज नील से काशगर की खाक तक 2 अरब मुसलमान नहीं, राख का एक ढेर है। हम भी इस ढेर का एक हिस्सा हैं। हमें माफ कर दो। हम तुम्हारी मदद नहीं कर सकते, तुम्हारे लिए कुछ नहीं कर सकते। बस इतनी इल्तिजा है कि रोज़े मैशर अल्लाह के हुजूर हमारी शिकायत न करना, और करो भी तो हुजूर अनवर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की आंख से बचाकर करना। हम किस तरह नबी रहमत का सामना करेंगे? अल्लाह तुम्हारा हामी और नासिर।
God Almighty is just. Nature is just. No matter what the bloody United Nations and United Security Council dominated and vetoed by this monster, the illegitimate father, the one who sees its present, who falls, who is not even awake to make decisions, who is not even mentally stable, is suffering from dementia. He cannot even climb 2 stairs of the plane, and he is controlling 250 million people at the White House. Actually, he is being controlled as a puppet, and the strings are in the hands of Netanyahu and his cabinet, or his fathers, or who live in America, but they are his forefathers. They are the one who fund their when they contest elections. They are the one who decide to put them in the White House. They are the one who then make them sign checks to send 10 or $100 billion to continue the jets and bombs, the most lethal missiles and drones to kill innocent and women and children of Palestine. So I think the root cause had to be uprooted and destroyed and burnt. And by just burning the leaves and destroying that, this scum is never, ever, ever going to finish. And I think these companies should get rid of this. They should, the first one they try and put any rig, they should, the first one who should be bombed and I think be eliminated so that no company dares. And I'm sure all these 12 companies which got the contract must be Jews. So if you want to get rid of them, their roots are everywhere. They are like cockroaches walking around right underneath the earth in the gutter. And how you kill a cockroach? That's what they are, and that's what they are going to do to you, to the oil and gas once they have hands on it. Imagine how they are going to blackmail Europe, how and what cost they are going to sell the gas to them. And they will control the German economy, the French economy. They will control the Eastern European economy. They will control whether they live or die during winter because they will control the gas and the oil. And that's what's going to happen if you don't stop them now. With these words, I stop that it is about time. It will be much lethal than the Third World War if you allow these people to live now any longer and exist any longer. Carve 90% of the air and give it back to Palestine and disarm all the army of these Zionists, get all their bombs, defuse them. United Nations is never ever going to do this thing. You have to do it by force. And if Putin doesn't wake up, if the Chinese president doesn't wake up, and you start depending on these, pseudo kings who want to protect their kingdom, and then never ever you're going to see a real fighter or a Muslim, and you forget about the Muslim history and the past. So you have to now wake up and get your share and keep this supply to the whole of Europe and sell it to the rate which they can afford in their local currency. Get rid of petrodollar also. And that's the only way that you can keep the peace in the world. यूनिवर्सल टेलीविजन को सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें, उसके बाद बेल बटन पे क्लिक करें और अपने कमेंट्स के सेक्शन में अपने कीमती जो ख्यालात का इजहार ज़रूर